Good afternoon to you all. First, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathering on unceded indigenous territory. The Kanen Kahaha Nation is recognized as the custodians of these lands and waters, and we pay respect to their elders, both past and present, who have been stewards of this land throughout many generations. Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, colleagues from near and far, my name is Kirsti Buchanan Ulvestad, and I am the Head of International Relations at Performing Arts Hub Norway. And on behalf of my Nordic colleagues, I am both very happy and excited to welcome you to this very first edition of Nordic Pulse, a joint venture created by Nordics Combined, a network consisting of partner organizations from Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, and Norway. We are excited to share with all of you some of the most exciting and groundbreaking performing arts to come out of the Nordic region. We look forward to reconnect with old friends and to make new connections across Canada and internationally. It is so good to be back in person here at Sinars, and we are thrilled to see you here at Nordic Pulse today. We are honored to have all the 5 Nordic embassies in Canada with us here today, represented by Ambassador Roy Eriksson from Finland, Ambassador Linur Gudjonsson from Iceland, Ambassador Urban Ahlin from Sweden, Vice Consul and Cultural Advisor Pia Stenholt from Denmark, and Minister Councillor Erik Furu from Norway, and some of their colleagues. We appreciate the support the embassies give to cultural collaboration between the Nordics and Canada, and especially for your support to Nordics Combined here at Sinars. I now welcome Minister Councillor Erik Furu to say a few words.
Thank you, Kirsti, and hello, everyone. So it's so great to be here today. We are so happy that Sinars is back in person again, so people can meet face to face, make real connections, and experience the performances and presentations in real life rather than through a screen. So the last couple of years, we have learned how we can work digitally, virtually, over a distance, but nothing compares to gathering in person with international contacts and colleagues that share the same interest and excitement. Nordic collaboration is something very important to us, and particularly here in Canada. Canada and the Nordics have so much in common. We share the same values, we work together for the same important global issues, and we live in similar climates and landscapes. This is a great starting point when working together also in the cultural arena. This year, as I hope many of you have experienced, Canada has been home to one of the largest Nordic cultural collaborations in a third country ever. The Nordic cultural initiative Nordic Bridges, supported by the Nordic Council of Ministers and led by Harbourfront Centre in Toronto, has involved presenting partners and festivals across Canada from coast to coast to coast. Hundreds of Nordic artists representing all disciplines and expressions have been presented throughout the year through concerts, performances, exhibits, panel discussions, and a lot more. So many bridges have been built, and we hope the connections will continue to grow in the years to follow. As Nordic embassies in Canada, we are very excited to be here for this first edition of Nordic Pulse. Nordic Pulse follows the same principles as Nordic Bridges, and we hope the coming days will bring the Nordics and Canada even closer. So the Nordics have been coming here to CNARS for a long time, and many of you will be familiar with the Nordic Square in the exhibition hall. That's been a staple since 2010, and not to mention the Nordic Party, where I hope to see you all tonight. Nordic Combined is a network for Nordic agencies and information centers promoting Nordic performing arts internationally. They initiate and carry out joint projects, coordinate promotional activities, and exchange information. So the Nordics Combined here at CNARS brings you over 50 companies, artists, and organizations, all of whom you can meet at the Nordic Square. The new and exciting thing this time around is the event we gathered for right now, Nordic Pulse. And what better place to introduce this new collaboration than here at CNARS in Canada. For the first time, the Nordics come together to present some of the most exciting dance, theater, and circus performances we have to offer. I hope you'll be impressed and inspired by the range and the creativity and quality of the Nordic work presented here today. So enjoy, and thank you.
Thank you, Minister Councillor. Now, here comes some practical information. First, you need to know that this event is being live streamed and recorded for future viewers online. You're not in the picture, but that's why we have some rigid technical rules here. And the session will be in 3 parts. The first part, we are presenting 9 dance companies, and it will run for approximately 1 hour. Then we will have a 25-minute break. We were supposed to serve lunch at that time, but it's already been served, so you will have some coffee, and then you can actually talk with each other instead. Then around 1:30, we start the second part, where we are presenting 6 circus companies, for then to go straight into the third part, where 7 theater companies will be presenting their work. So all in all, you will have 22 artists within 3 hours, including the break. Each company has 5 minutes each, so the additional information you would like to know about the companies, if you see those QR codes around, they're not for decoration, it's for you to scan them, and then you will find the digital catalog, and then you will find all the companies with the information that you need. Now, without further ado,
Now let me tell you some facts about pigs. The DNA of the pig is so alike the DNA of the human that their organs are being used for transplantation. The eyes of the pig is placed so they can never see the sky. Pigs have 4 toes, but they only walk on the 2 in the front, so it looks like they're walking on high heels. Pigs are social beings. Pigs used to run free in the streets, but eventually people wanted them to stay in specific places, so they built walls. So somehow Wall Street has always been a place for pigs. On a daily basis, millions of pigs are being raped, or inseminated if you prefer. The orgasm of the pig is way longer than the human orgasm, and it can last for up to 30 minutes. The male pig orgasm, that is. Pigs are supposed to be smarter than 3-year-olds. Pigs are liars. Pigs are dirty. Pigs are messy. Pigs never clean up after themselves. They never do the dishes. Pigs have several lovers. Some really, really old pigs like to buy new cars and drive around with young pigs next to them. Pigs lack emotion, but crave attention. Pigs are loud. Pigs are ugly. Pigs are stupid. Pigs have absolutely no moral, and pigs are fucking dominant. What you heard here was an excerpt of a monologue from Samba, a dance theater performance by Uppercut Dance Theater based in Copenhagen, Denmark. We work with different dance styles such as capoeira, breaking, acrobatics, and contemporary dance. The artistic leadership is held by Stephanie Thomason and Mark Phillip. The latter is with us at Scenaris today. My name is Maya. I'm the producer of the company. I'm happy to be here to tell you about Samba. That's one of the performances with which we're touring. In Samba, choreographer Stephanie Thomason unfolds the character of Mr. Pig and uses the pig as a lens, a portrait, a metaphor to examine the many different meanings of the word and the many different faces we as humans put on, our relations to one another, our understanding of the world, and the space between us. In a round set design, inspired by the traditional Samba arena, 5 dancers play out a myriad of stories that relate to one another, and each of them gets to put on the mask and embody Mr. Pig in their own unique way. The performance makes use of live music, of traditional Samba rhythms with piano, voice, and body percussion. The arena is dressed in red dance vinyl of 8 meters in diameter, and above us hangs a suspension bridge that the dancers dance on, hangs in, and hangs upside down from. It lasts approximately 70 minutes without intermission and can be performed for as little as 80 person and as many as the venue may construct seating for. Samba has so far toured in Denmark and in Germany, and we're very proud to say that it's been exceptionally well received. Now, before turning it over to the screen, I'd like to just point out that we also tour with other performances, amongst them benched dance performance of 45 minutes that can play outdoor as well as indoor, and a completely new and very versatile solo called Pilgrim by Mark Phillip with a 17-minute duration. We're happy to talk more about our performances with you here at Scenaris, and without further ado, we leave you here with a visual image of Samba.
Hello everyone, I'm Vanessa Storm, producer for Jostrømgren Company, which is based in Oslo, Norway. The Norwegian Opera and Ballet is serving as our home venue, where our artistic leader is also a choreographer in residence for the National Ballet. Next year, JSK celebrates 25 years of existence. Those years we have been touring in 60 countries and created 46 stage and film productions. And in this year, 2022, we are performing more than 300 performances. JSK has a strong signature, a mix of dance and theater with a distinct physical humor combined with darker undertones. Another trademark is the use of unsensical language. We offer an active repertoire of about 10 different stage productions and covering a broad range of genres. Variations of dance theater is our most common performance, but also we have pure dance, pure theater, and also puppet performances, to mention some. Today I want to present to you our newest production, which is called The Loft. 4 female co-workers sneak upstairs to the loft during their lunch break, where friction between them sets in motion a series of conflicts. Feelings of unreturned love and surreal dreams allow the women's repressed instincts to emerge. Friction between people in confined space is a timeless problem that has inflicted our species since we ever began living in caves. The Loft reminds us that in modern life, we're still dealing with these same ancient problems. In many cases, the aspect of psychological strain is more problematic than the situation itself, and people can quickly lose sight of what's trivial, what's important, and what's existential. The performance was created together also with composer and musician Bergmund Wahl Skalslien, who composed most of the music for the piece, and also close collaborated with JSK since the very start. It features 4 female dancers, movement and big emotions, nonsensical language, and also a very tour-friendly set. Yu himself, he said about the piece that, "I've tried to create a universal performance that it's not so much about gender, but about love in general and all our emotions, all our problems, our experiences, and our memories." The Loft was co-produced by the Norwegian Opera and Ballet and also in collaboration with the Belgrade Dance Festival, where we had our premiere in March 2022. Since then, we have performed several places in Norway, at the MoveFest in Czech Republic, Ostrava, and just a few weeks ago at the International Baltic Ballet Festival in Riga, Latvia. So I want to share with you our trailer, where you also can get an idea of the company's signature and expression. So JSK used most of fall 2021 to build a permanent dance group who now know 5 different productions: The Loft, The Ministry of Unresolved Feelings, Made in Oslo, a triple bill, Salve Regina, and our classic from '98, a dance tribute to the art of football. This has been a huge strength for us to be able to offer several productions with the same crew. Also worth mentioning, we create performances for a younger audience, The Tired Man, a solo piece for children from 6 years and up, and also The Ministry of Unresolved Feelings was created for teens with the dance company in Gothenburg, now also with our own dancers. Besides working for JSK, Yu also does commission work all over the world, latest now at the Opera in Graz, Austria, which premiered in October. We are looking for touring possibilities and also a place to premiere our news piece and also to co-produce. Is going to be a follow-up from the loft, and this time we're going downstairs to the basement. Thank you so much, and please get in touch.
Hi, my name is Malene, and I'm the producer of Danish company Don Gnu. Don Gnu makes physical theater and dance combined into a playful, poetic, and powerful universe. It's led by 2 artistic directors and choreographers, also known as the 2 charming characters, Don and Gnu. And we tell extraordinary stories of the ordinary life. City is about creating a unique show every time it is performed. A new city makes up for a new show with high local relevance. The performance takes place on our iconic supersized balance board that serves as a clear metaphor for interpersonal relationships. You cannot move or act without affecting others. It also illustrates very precisely what the premises for cooperation are. Getting a spinning top of no less than 500 kilo to balance or into rhythmic rotation requires physical superiority and perfect cooperation. When we visit a new city, we put local artists, music, themes, and cultures onto the stage and have it challenge the existing format. It's a dynamic and flexible project where almost any art form or local subject can be the creative obstacle that challenges the performers to create a new physical language and to search for a new mixed balance of different cultures. It's developed on the basis of 2 to 3 weeks residency. We have 2 of our performers on the stage together with local artists. And it can be created as both an indoor or outdoor project. Thank you very much for listening, and please get in touch if you want to help us make more balance in the world.
Hi, my name is Yohei Hamada, Norway-based dance artist, originally from Japan. Today, I'd like to introduce you my solo work premiered in 2020, right before the pandemic started. I believe the body still needs to be rediscovered. What if a tailbone is the best form of a human's tail? What if it's me who can decide my tailbone is useful or not? Once I was told to have a surgery and remove my tailbone from the doctor. Why? How can the doctor say that? I do not suffer with my tailbone. I'm not aiming for that perfect body. I'm a dancer with my body. I dance with my body build and my physicality. I am a tail holder. So now I read the text from the program. A tail holder is a dance of the human body and candles, which is developed in the dark Norwegian winter. With minimal sound effects and lighting, the audience will experience a sorting temporality and ever-changing space. Hamada's movement, which is authentic, precise, and actively passive, is the result of his research into movement of the body with a tail, and into the anthropocentric way of dancing with the movements in the surroundings, such as water, smoke, and flame. and second in the white cube. But it is made to be performed in a wide variety of open spaces, such as galleries, abandoned factories, vacant stores, etc. For the candle reflections, white dance mat or glossily finished floors are ideal. Blackout is not necessary, but quiet darkness is required. I'm looking for a tour opportunity including Canadian or Northern American premiere, but in any part of the world. If you're interested in my piece, please find me for this flyer or my business card. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Ivor Finley, and I'm here to talk to you about my artistic platform, Finley Sandsmark. First, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to share our work today, and also to thank the organizers of the event, including especially PON. It's really great to be able to be here. Finley Sandsmark is a Stavanger-based performance company, which at the core is led by choreographer, dance artist Marit Sandsmark, and myself, working as a director and video artist. Our work is made in a process-driven collective approach across disciplinary boundaries to create live art that resonates in a circulatory system comprised of equally valued mediums focused through a choreographic prism in movement-based foundation. Each piece assembles a project-specific collective where the core artists invite collaborators across fields and backgrounds such as musicians, historians, visual artists, dance and performance artists, and writers to create a unique approach and discourse, giving equal weight to the various elements and nodes in the process. This process and choreographic approach utilizes live compositions and composited materials to define and shape an effective and visceral shared experience between the viewer and the work. The different elements inform and cascade into each other to form an interrelated choreography between movement, music, sound, visual, and sculptural elements, as well as reactive and accompanying design elements such as light and video. Our newest project is called Every Night in My Dreams, which I would like to show a short trailer of now. Personal origin and how places and landscapes leave an imprint on the body and the senses. This time taking impulse from the childhood of Marit Sandsmark, reflecting on her first 8 years of living in Uganda, Cameroon, where she was born as a child of Norwegian Christian missionaries. The project found its starting point by imagining and exploring other possible ways of relating by collectively addressing a void left by history. During the process, people of different ages and backgrounds were invited to take part in a meditation practice using a strategy to imagine how we can relate in non-physical ways. by removing the gaze and working with our eyes closed, our imagined state manifested itself into clay, becoming objects that resemble all different non-bodies and voices that shared this journey with us. The performance continues this interest in sharing and offers a collective space to acknowledge and enter the impossible void by a way of collecting multiple layers, memories, and fragments. Every Night in My Dreams unfolds as a performance installation with a choreographic center, practicing the ability to listen and embody states explored through ritual and hypnotic experience, finding their way into clay objects, circling and flickering lights and shadows, patterns, and not the least in the body of the solo performer as she negotiates and interacts with the landscape. There are plans to present this work in the spring of 23 in Norway and also in the US in the summer and fall of 2023. If one might like to see the work live, we can help find support to make that happen. Additionally, we have set out to make different iterations of this larger project that you see, which extracts, simplifies, and refines elements to borrow and become something entirely new. Also worth mentioning, much more simple and scaled down to travel with. Using restraint as a guide, we are busy making a new study or iteration that will premiere in Stavanger in late January with the working title Iteration 1, which is also possible to try to ask people to come see. So thank you for your time.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to this sharing. My name is Simone Wierød and I'm a choreographer and artistic director of YS Studio. YS Studio is a Copenhagen-based company that creates choreographic works for the stage, for galleries, for public space, and even for the cinema screen. Today I would like to present to you two stage works. The first one is Collective Behavior, which is a work that I created in close collaboration with the South Korean media arts duo Kimchi and Chips. Collective behavior illustrates the symmetry between individual identity and group identification and how we tend to mirror the behavior of others. On stage, we have a complex scenography of semi-transparent mirrors that creates the illusion of multiple bodies becoming one and of one body multiplying into many versions of itself. We have 3 performers on stage, but you might experience an endless number of bodies appearing out of the dark. Here is a short trailer to give you an impression of the work. Collective Behavior premiered right before the pandemic in Denmark, but we've just been able to resume our international collaboration with 2 tours to South Korea this year, latest in Sejong Center in August. Now the world is open again, and we really want this work to meet the world. The other work I would like to present to you today is an upcoming performance. It's called Actual Figures, and it's a collaboration with a British architecture company called Standard Practice and 5 amazingly skilled Nordic rope performers from Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. With Actual Figures, it's choreography on the vertical plane, and I quite literally want to take my choreographic work to a higher level. We want to activate the full space of the stage by allowing movement on all planes and in all directions. With Actual Figures, we explore the creation, the construction and deconstructions of systems, especially systems of balance and collaborations. What happens when we build something together, and what happens if someone suddenly lets go. On stage, we have a scenography of aerial ropes. They are attached in a motorized rigging, which allows movement in all directions. 5 performers manipulate the rope into geometric patterns and systems and challenge each other on collaborations and balances. We are still developing this work, but I can show you some video from some of our research periods. Actual Figures will premiere in 1 year. It's a co-production with Bora Bora and Dansehallerne in Aarhus and Copenhagen. And after that, we'll be ready for international touring from 2024. I'm here all week, and I would be very happy to share more about these works and also some of our other productions. So please get in touch or find me at the Nordic Party tonight. Thank you.
Me finding the table and the stage. Hello. Hope you're doing well. My name is Sindri, and I'm here from Sweden, based in Stockholm and Malmö. I'm going to present an idea for a project, or a project that has kind of started, but premiering 2024. So I don't have any films, so you will only hear me talking. We have a little pink background because we're thinking about having a lot of pink in the piece, a lot of pink costumes. Anyway, the project is called Cosmetic Demons, a choreographic salon. And in the project, I'm inspired by the hairdresser and the history of the salon, let's say. And I want to start with asking you 2 questions. You don't have to answer, but you can answer in your mind. Like, how did you feel this morning when you woke up? Or more precisely, how did you feel about your hair? How is your hair day today? And the second one is, when was the last time you cut your hair? Do you remember? And more important, maybe, why did you cut your hair? Right? Yeah. So these questions I will try and answer a little bit through this project. 9 years ago, I was living in Copenhagen, and I was going to cut my hair, and I was recommended a hairdresser or a salon, which was very specific. It was like in a secret, hidden little basement. You walked down, and you came into this room, and it was full of these like toys and, you know, plastic figurines like Mega Marvel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like He-Man, Transformers, you know, all of those, and a lot of TV games like consoles like Nintendo and Sega Mega Drive and all of those, you know. And then if you walk further in this basement, you came to this little room, and you had to sit down in a pink leather, old-fashioned hairdresser's chair, and you could cut your hair by a really good hairdresser. And in front of you, there was a mirror and a TV game, so you could play this Nintendo while you were cutting your hair. And then I was sitting there, and I got this idea, like, wow, what if you would take away the TV game and the TV screen, and what if you would even take away the mirror and replace it with a dancer? I thought this would be a really cool dance show. So now it's happening. Like, we started to plan this last year. So the idea is that we would take away the mirror and place a hairdresser's chair on the actual stage and kind of stage this event as a little choreographical experiment. But we also talked about it that we were inspired by like an old Tibetan nun who had a kind of like a I don't know how to call it, but like a self-development or like self-compassion method called Feeding Your Demons. And in this method, the idea was to meet your inner conflicts or your inner demons by giving them a little fika, as we say in Swedish, like a little tea time. Sorry. So you basically give them all that you have, like positive things. You nourish them with good stuff, right? And as you're doing that, the demon turns into your ally. That was the basic idea about this ancient tradition somehow. So I was thinking about it, maybe my inner demons or our inner demons can actually be our superheroes. So instead of having a superhero dancing, I transform this into demons. So in the piece, you will have a demon doing kind of a distant lap dance as you're getting your hair done, or something like that. Another thing that I was very inspired by or interested by is like the history of gossip, or the queer history of gossip, or the function of communication and hidden and secret communication as it's been traveling throughout history and through rooms and spaces. And yeah, the idea of like sitting, talking to a hairdresser, and how that dialogue or that social context almost becomes like a little therapeutic moment for you. So I guess we all went through this a lot, and yeah, that was one of the main ideas, how we can also work with words and sound and sensorial experiences as getting your hair down, and how we can use that as a springboard for dance and choreography. And this will be a stage performance, like a proper dance show in a black box. And we have the idea of putting 3 hairdressers' chairs on the stage, and 3 people getting their hair done, that would be the audience, and 3 dancers doing this distant lap dance in front of the people getting their hair done, let's say. And also, we want to kind of transform the space. Okay, my time is up. We also have this thing called the pop-up version, where you can put the hairdresser's chair in a place like this, or in a festival, or in a gallery, or wherever. Okay, if you want to talk more about this, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Hello there. Pleased to meet you. My name is Kit Johnson, and I am a performer, a choreographer, a curator, and I'm the artistic director of Exact. We're based in Copenhagen, and I'm working and creating cross-disciplinary in conventional as well as non-conventional art spaces. And the project I'm going to share with you today is a site and community-specific concept that I've been conducting since 2008. So that makes 14 years, 26 projects in 17 different countries, in Europe, in Asia, and North America, with the participation of more than 200 artists and local community members. So let's now start the slideshow. It's a number of pictures from some of the projects, and it's just really to give you a visual idea of what it could look like. So the project is called Mellemrum, which is Danish. In German, it's Zwischenraum. In English, you don't have the word, I'm sorry for you. But it means something like the nameless void in between 2 defined spaces or entities. So what we're trying to do with Mellemrum is to bring light into the cracks, into the in-betweens of a specific community, of a specific neighborhood. To bring light to the overlooked, to the forgotten, to the lost, to the secret, to the hidden agendas, to the garbage, to everything what you find in there in the cracks on all levels. Yeah? And besides this, Mellemrum is also a tribute to the walk. Walking is an archaic practice. Yeah? It's a basic mean of transportation that is universal to all times and to all cultures. We walked out of Africa and we still migrate walking. And when we walk, it's like we sharpen our senses and we sharpen our thought. The Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, he said in Danish, "Jeg har gået mig mine bedste tanker til." And that means in English something like, I walked myself to my best thoughts. Because indeed walking has a long and strong tradition, walking as an artistic as well as philosophical practice. Aristotle walked with his peripatetic school in Athens. Immanuel Kant walked in Königsberg. The Situationists walked in Paris, in Brussels. And countless other artists, thinkers, and so-called regular people, whatever that is, has been walking, gathering material, gathering thought, gathering artistic expressions. Yeah? So, humbly, with this project, we enroll ourselves into this tradition. Mellemrum is, it offers to the audience a carefully designed walk. A walk that's completed by a great number of artistic interventions. Interventions that's shaping the walk. Interventions that's created by a number of artists. They may be local, national, international. Whatever we find is needed for that specific community or that specific neighborhood. These works might also engage a number of local community members. They may be participatory, they may be immersive in different ways. They may take on any format that we feel is needed for that specific place and community. Now, the design of the walks, also the curation of the artists, as well as the creation of the actual works, is based on a thorough mapping method that I've been working with since 2008. I call it the walk, the talk, the archive dive. And with this method, we resource huge amounts of knowledge about a place and a neighborhood and a community. We develop and engage into the necessary networks. And most important almost is we identify what is actually needed there. So we try to avoid to do a hit and run project, but instead we try to do something that is needed in that specific place and community. Now this short pitch slot, it's too short for me to develop or to elaborate further on the method, but please feel free to catch up with me later if you are more curious. Last, I just want to mention that for the moment we are developing a season-specific Mellemrum in Denmark with a national park. And it's first time we move out of the urban context into nature, which is super exciting and challenging. Also, we're preparing a work in Arrecife, which is a main town in Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. So this is what we currently are working on. Thank you so much for your attention.
Hello, my name is Magnus Norberg from Norberg Movement in Stockholm. We're an agency for dance and music, and I just want to say I'm humbled by these amazing projects. Thanks for sharing this works with us. I'm here to talk to you about År Eller, a choreographic duo based in Stockholm, Sweden, with whom we have the pleasure of working with at our office. Their work is characterized by highly visually dramatic pieces, using dance as an expressive force. And the founders, Madeleine Lind and Anja Arnquist, have been active in the field of dance and choreography since the early 2000s and started this duo in 2018. Today we're presenting the work V, part of År Eller's journey to create choreographic work for families and young audiences. video, please. Young audiences up to 99 and above, as Madeleine and Anja says. The stunning set consists of two massive dancing nets and one gigantic scarf, and this acts as a hollow place for two peculiar characters to act out their strategies in this choreographic work. Anja and Madeleine says, we want to create performances that take your breath away and that unfolds as something both complex and simple. Kind of like that irresistible feeling of an approaching positivism in which both the humor and seriousness have a place. V is really intriguing, imaginative, inviting, and it swallows you with movement, sound, and creates this encompassing feeling of sinking into another world. It has mesmerized audiences in Stockholm, where it's been performed many, many, many times, and around Sweden. An additional piece, Web, for an audience between 4 and 6 years old, is performed in the same net, so presenters can present work from 4 to 99 in a residency week with År Eller if you want to present them at your stages. Anja and Madeleine are both in the space. Can you stand up? Say where you are. There you are. They will also present this week a 20-minute excerpt of live excerpts from this work at a showcase called Swedish Canadian Showcase, Movement from Two Countries at Studio Fluck tomorrow at 12:30 and 4:30. Combined, you get a feeling of the movement material. And I, together with Juliana Widersdotter, who is standing over there, will be in booth 109, Nordberg Movement, for any questions. So come and talk to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear artists. 9 dance companies have been presenting their works. Now we're going to break for a 20-minute break. We will see you back here 1:25. Please talk to each other, see if there are any more lunch, coffee, mineral water. And after the break, we will have 6 circus companies and 7 theaters within the theater genre. So please hang on. Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we will commence, so if you want to find your seat. Dear all, a warm welcome to any newcomers who have just joined us during the break. And to all of you, I hope you have enjoyed some conversations. Again, for those of you who are just arrived, the additional information about each of the companies present here today you will find in the digital catalog. You find it if you're scanning the QR code that is placed around the room. Now, we proudly present 6 Nordic circus companies.
Do you all hear me? Hello, my name is Camilla Therese Carlsen. I am here today to present to you one of the very few Sami circus performing arts companies in the world. There are not so many of us. We are focusing our productions on the Sami culture, the Sami people, sharing knowledge about us and our situation. And with that, I mean the political and social situation after the long and hard assimilation politics and process that was wrought upon my people. But most importantly of all, we want to show to you the beauty of our culture. So this is an important part of our productions. I am Sami myself. As you can see, I am Sea Sami. Here in Canada, you would refer to it as coastal Sami. And this is a truth that I learned as a teenager. Our ancestry was Sami. And this truth was dividing my family into those accepting it and those being so ashamed that they completely denied our culture. This is a typical story from Sápmi and for the Sami people. This made it very hard for me to carry my culture with pride. And it took me a long time. Even as a performing artist, I was warned that putting on my culture on stage could stamp me and brand me as that Sami rather than the professional artist I had become. And this shame, this is what the production Hidden Path is about.
Naturen fødte. Vind stryk mot huden, våken som skriker, räven som gråter, fjällvannet.
I didn't even have a clue that I was different from you. Until the day they broke the news, suddenly I had everything to lose. What should I choose?
We started this project in 2020, then Corona hit us, as you have heard from several others today. So what you have just seen is the typical look of a international cross-border production in a pandemic situation. We, as a team, very often digitally dived together into this subject, into the shame, into what caused it, into what it means to be living between cultures. Looking for how can we unshame being Sami. This was difficult. We had an impossible start for this project, and the subject is so difficult as well, but maybe that is why it worked out. We managed to create a production that is not only speaking to indigenous people, it also speaks to other minorities, as well as other people who has also experienced being stuck in between and not knowing where to go. It speaks to many. Through pandemic, through closed borders, through lockdown, we managed to premiere this production as planned in February 22. Amazing team, amazing artists who actually did that. I'm very proud of everyone who was a part of this. I think in our long production time, we only had 8 days with everyone in the room together. And 3 of these days were running up to the premiere. I don't know how we did that. I want Hidden Path to be seen around the globe by indigenous people, by minorities. And so I am looking for the possibility to book the show, but I'm also looking for cooperation for our next project coming up, which is already a cooperation with Greenland artists. And I'm especially looking for cooperations in North America. So please approach me to speak about Hidden Path and our future projects. I'm here at CNARS. You can find me in the swap card. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. You hear me good? Yes, I am Victoria Dahlborg. I am one of 3 artistic directors for Sweden, Stockholm-based company Giraffe. We were founded in 2015. We create shows for a young audience, but also for adults. I'm here to present to you one of our 4 touring creations, Moln, or Clouds in English.
Som går här, en spegelbild, en lögn. Fråga vad jag är. Fråga vad jag är. Och uppblåst över världens största pool. Ett enda steg igenom, och det finns ingen väg tillbaka. Ingen väg tillbaka.
The artists in Moln are Benjamin Boyard, juggler, Ellen Briand, handstand performer, Sara Runsten, hand-to-hand flyer, and Axel Ahl, who is hands-to-hand bass. We are touring with 4 artists and 1 technician. Moln is a dystopian but yet life-affirming story. It is based on poetry from the Swedish poet Karin Boye. The music is composed by the Swedish pop artist Jonathan Johansson. Yes, we need a 10 meters wide stage, 9 meters deep, and 6 meters in the roof. We have no rigging points. There are self-standing poles, lamp posts that you see here. We wish for performing engagements. We also wish for co-producers, agents, anyone who could be interested in collaborating with us. We also have future creations in the pipeline. So don't hesitate to come and talk to me. And if you want to hear more about the company, it's lovely to be here. And thank you very much for your attention. And also welcome to the Nordic Party tonight.
Hello, we are Cirkel, a Swedish circus company specialized in stage performance with crossover art labs, creative rigging, and innovative construction. 4 years ago, started a collaboration with Norrköping Symphony Orchestra of crossover labs between symphonic musicians and circus, exploring how we could make music physical and physicality musical. Sinfonia Volante is the result of a long project that started with the creation of 4 indoor pieces that were produced by Norrköping Symphony Orchestra and Östgötateatern. We are happy to say that Sinfonia Volante has now reached its final form and had its premiere this September 2022.
Ja, det är ett litet skämt. It's a little joke that I think is funny. Yeah. Yes. Hi. I'm Mattias Lindström, and I'm one of 2 artistic directors for company Cirkel. And in the show Sinfonia Volante, we have 5 acrobats, and I'm one of them. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have 1 minute. So, in the show we also have 3 musicians that has also composed the music for the show, and they play harp, trombone, and percussions. And we perform in an 18 meters high truss structure, and because of this, we can have really large audiences because we perform very high up. And we also have a stage for the musicians, which is a shipping container, and when we disassemble the truss, we can put everything inside the shipping container, and then it's ready to go to the next venue. And what we are looking for is to tour this fantastic show, and we're also looking for a fantastic agent to sell the show. Yes. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tom Brand, and I'm one of 4 artistic directors of Svalbard Company. We work very flat. That's our thing. Yeah, I'm here to. You might know us from our past show called Orgenius Olidiet that we toured like around 2016 to 2021, around 4 continents and 30 countries. But I'm here to talk to you about new stuff. So let's start with giving you some sort of visual reference to what it is I want to pitch to you. So yeah, why should we do things if we can just do it like this? That's a little bit the question that I'm working with, which is like, yeah, how do we become present, or how do we choose to be present in a time where we can choose to be present both in the digital and in the physical realm? So what you saw there was 3 pieces. One portal, which kind of represents this transition from the physical into the digital and how to deal with it. It's a very pixelated LED screen that you can walk through, and it's connected to a live camera on stage. Then you saw, obviously, the centerpiece of it, which is the whale rib cage, which has LED lights on the inside of the ribs that becomes the circus apparatus that people can climb on, hang from, balance on, do whatever. It's kind of a venue in itself, some sort of church, womb, club you choose. And then you saw some squares that were just hanging on the top, and that's somehow like the idea of the lighting design being something uncontrollable. So I'm thinking of big light gels cut out, turning them into a mobile, you know, that you play with when you're a kid. That is kind of turning, and you can't really control it, what color mixes with what color, and so on, kind of trying to keep the moment, the presence alive without trying to force it into a certain thing. Yes, there's loads more projects that we are working on, that we are cooking in our big Svalbard pot, and I don't have time to present them all to you, but please come to me to speak about them. All of this is complex stuff. 5 minutes is not enough, so I would love to explain it to you further if you find the taste of it interesting. So I have very bright colors, so it's easy to find me. And for the practicals, this touring show could be performed on a stage 10 by 10 meters, 6 meters clearance, 7 people touring, 5 people on stage, 2 technicians, or sound and light / yeah, everybody is multitasking when we do stuff. There's possibilities for loads of adaptable versions of this. So the whale itself is a freestanding structure which could be placed in any immersive scenario. Imagine a DJ booth at the end of it and people dancing, partying underneath it with people climbing on it. Or put it in the forest, put it on a square, wherever. The same with 1 minute left. The same with portal. Yeah, let's keep it there. It's currently in creation, so this was what I could show for now. We're building prototypes of the different parts. We're looking for co-production and co-funding, residencies and research partners, representation internationally, and a premiere at the beginning of 2024, or a place to premiere, and then obviously touring after that. But yeah, mainly come and talk to me. I'm happy to explain you more. If this is exciting you, let's talk more. That's it. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Eirún.
and I'm an Icelandic circus artist based in Reykjavik, and I'm here to represent my company Hringleikur. I know it's a mouthful, so I'll say it again, Hringleikur. Hringleikur is a leading organization that is working to establish and develop the circus field in Iceland that is really young. We work both with artistic projects and pedagogical ones, and I'm here to represent to you our project called Whatever the Weather. So, a little bit about this show. Whatever the Weather is a circus show that can be performed both indoors and outdoors, and it talks about the weather and our relationship to it. Where we come from, this has a big impact on our day-to-day lives, and throughout the world, the increasing extremes in weather is affecting people more and more. The show explores our connection with the weather and how it impacts us, both practically but also emotionally. The show is based on the circus disciplines of acrobatics, aerials, and Chinese pole, mixed with quirky humor and some poetic images. And we use the weather as metaphors to talk about and tell stories about human emotion and existence. And let's just see a little preview of the show. We have already toured extensively in Iceland, but would love to bring the show to a wider international audience. The show can play both indoors in black box conditions, as well as in outside locations where a natural surrounding really enhances the concept of the show. So this is what we try to search for. Technically speaking, the indoor location, for the indoor, we need some rigging points for aerials and Chinese pole, and a minimum of 6 meter ceiling height. In outdoor locations, we're able to be quite self-sufficient ourselves, so we bring everything. And I'm sure some of you would like to ask, yes, we do play in pretty much any weather. So that can be a bonus. So if anyone is interested in getting some Icelandic circus visiting you, then please come find me. I'll be around. So thank you for listening.
Okay, hello. I am Klara Sköldul Philip. I'm a Swedish circus artist, a wire dancer originally, and one of the founders of Below Zero Company. And I'm going to tell you about our latest show today, Chorus, that premiered this year in April in Stockholm at Stadsteatern. And Below Zero is quite a young company. We were founded in 2018 by four circus artists who really wanted to create together and to bring something new to the circus field. The Chorus is a touring show in quite a large but also intimate scale. It's large because we work with circus disciplines such as teeterboard, tight wire, hand-to-hand acrobatics, and floor acrobatics. But it's also intimate because the show touches upon themes such as cooperation, fears, loneliness, friendship, and even love. And the title Chorus is a Swedish word. It means collective voice or choir. And that was one of the artistic starting points when we started this process with this show. That we wanted to create circus choreography collectively and trying to become like a choir of bodies composing together instead of just doing like solo, solo, solo. So in Chorus you meet 4 circus artists performing incredible acts of balance, strength, movement, and acrobatics, but being unaware of what's happening in the outside world, unaware of the chaos that's closing in on them. But when the outside world can't be ignored anymore, what happens then? Chorus is a physical exploration of how we both as individuals and as groups are dealing with the crisis and catastrophes that came upon us. Do we unite or do we separate? Who's included? Who's not included? Who takes action and who surrenders? And whose fault is it actually? I'm going to show you our video material now. It's a teaser for the show, and it was made.
You might recognize two of the artists from Moln, Axel and Sarah. Just to wrap it up, Chorus is a full evening show in 2 parts. It's approximately 90 minutes long with a break. It's a completely finished show, and we're looking for opportunities to tour in 23 and 24. And all information about the company and our other productions can be found at our website, belowzerocompany.com. And if you want to speak to someone who have seen and also booked their show, Josefin Rosales is sitting over there. And she was kind enough to say that if anyone's curious, you can ask her. And also, please come and talk to me and grab a postcard. Thank you so much for listening.
So this was our 6 circus companies. Thank you. Back to back now, we are going to present 7 companies within a wide variety of theater. Here we go, the show reel for the 7 theater companies.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Hi, my name is Claire Costa. I'm senior producer for the Norwegian-French company Plexus Polaire, led by artistic director Ingvild Aspeli. And I will today tell you a bit more about our touring show, Moby Dick. It premiered in the fall 2020 and has extensively toured the last year within Europe with more than 100 performances. And it's now on its way on a cargo crossing the Atlantic. Moby Dick will be touring in Canada this month. The first stop is in Quebec at Le Diamant, and then at the end of the month, and then in Montreal at Théâtre Outremont, and followed by the Harbourfront Centre in Toronto, before reaching the US in January in New York at the NYU Skirball as part of Under the Radar Festival, and then Chicago. We are so excited by this North American tour, and we hope you can have a chance to see the show then. Moby Dick is the tale of a whaling expedition, but it's also the story of an obsession or an investigation into the unexplained mysteries of life. To quote Melville, it is the image of the ungraspable phantom of life, and this is the key to it all. The sea somehow draws invisible lines between the different corners of the world. It creates points of connections. And facing this force of nature, we're all the same. And no one captures this battle between man and nature like Herman Melville in Moby Dick. An ancient white whale, a captain steering his ship into destruction, and the inner storms of the human heart. With 7 actors, 50 puppets, video projections, a drowned orchestra, and a whale-sized whale. Ingrid Lespelli has staged this vibrant, dark, and powerful visual adaptation of this wonderful beast of a book. And now let's see a short teaser.
Did you dream of it again? The prophecy. Yes. The prophecy. Strange sight. You cannot die before it has been seen. I shall go before you as your pilot. I am immortal then, on land and sea. Immortal on land and sea.
L'âme humaine enferme une Tahiti pleine de paix et de joie, cernée par les horreurs d'un monde à demi connu. Si comme moi vous poussiez loin au large de cette île, vous pourriez ne jamais revenir.
Thank you. I'm available later during Scenarios if you want to know more about Moby Dick and our other touring shows. Briefly, Dracula, Lucy's Dream is a more intimate performance. For this adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel, Ingrid Lespelli has focused more on the female character and Lucy's struggle with her inner demons. And finally, Tarantula is the adaptation of Ibsen's Doll's House, and it will premiere in the fall 2023. It's a story about the roles that we play, the lies that we imprison ourselves with. It's also a story that shakes and breaks all the hidden phantoms and where one dances like her life depends on it. Thank you.
Hello. The Immortal Jellyfish Girl is a puppet show. Produced by Waka Waka, an award-winning company known for making sophisticated puppetry. They are really good also. And Nordland Visual Theatre, they are also really good. When we humans imagine the future, we mostly imagine ourselves, humans, in it. But the Immortal Jellyfish Girl takes place in 2555, and there are no more humans in it. Homo sapiens is extinct. So it's a science fiction classic also. It is also a little bit of a relief, you know. So two new enhanced species, either technologically or biologically, have evolved. And they are not friends also, so it's another classic. So this puppet show is full of classic science fiction cliches also. We are just layering on. We steal from everywhere, from all left and right also. So we are very trendy. And yeah, we are hip also, like a potato. Yeah. So we have a mad genius scientist with a genius plan, a classic. We have an orphan with a special gift. He can fly, another classic. And we have an artificial intelligence computer that does not wish us well. Artificial intelligence and humans, we all know it's not gonna go well also. Yeah. And we also have a prophet that does not know that he's a prophet until he does, like Jesus. Like Jesus also. And that's a world classic. And the puppet show is set in the aftermath of a huge nuclear disaster of epic proportions. It's a classic. So we wanted to find a way to talk about serious themes and challenges to our future, the future of the animal kingdom, extinction, but to avoid shaking fingers, we are shaking puppets. Yeah. And the narrator of the puppet show is a Prospero-like figure who disguises himself as a fox. So it's me also, in case you're wondering. And he makes a mess of everything because he is human. Another classic. Yeah. But at its core, it's a Romeo and Juliet love story between two teenagers from opposite sides of a war, a cyborg and a jellyfish girl. It's an action-packed eco-fable, a comical tragedy that can only be told with puppets and people. So now we can show a little video. We are showing you a little video right now. Sometimes Aurelia would dream that she was swimming in the ocean, but she had never been to the ocean before. Sometimes she would dream that she was being held by a fox, except it wasn't a fox, it was a man, her father. Sometimes Aurelia would dream that her body was covered in fur, and that the wind would ruffle her feathers. Sometimes she would dream that she had sharp teeth, and she would sink them into the flesh of another animal. Sometimes Aurelia would dream that she could not move, and that the only thing she could smell was blood.
Long live the kingdom!
Sometimes she would dream that she could not breathe the air.
When the last infected dies, the city will fall.
The Medusa will rise and kill us all.
So says the fox.
To know more, you will never find me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
ting, that's an old word for governing assembly. So Norting is an assembly for the North. And even though we are now in the context of theater, we are about to leave fiction, the Northern Assembly is an art project with an ambition to change reality, to question and change narratives and power relations. And we do stage productions, but we also do public interventions and content on media platforms. Norting is not a political campaign, but everything we do is based on some fundamental insights about society. First one being, reality can always be changed. The world is created by humans, and it is within our powers to change it. And the second being, the world can be changed through changing the culture. And that's where art comes in, to change and alter common sense. So we travel around with our assembly meetings, a mixture of gala performance, PowerPoint lecture, and community meeting, with political analysis, singing, dancing, lottery, music for oil barrels, voting, and maybe an opening speech by the local mayor. I think he's going to come up there now. We always include guests, local guests. We invite youth punk bands or the community choir or a singer-songwriter with a song about the community or a group of cheerleaders, because we need to have the community present on stage, and we need to know what's on the minds of the people that we meet. Because we put both global and very, very local issues up for a vote. In Yukon, for example, the Assembly decided to change the national anthem of Canada. It used to be "The True North, Strong and Free, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee." But now the anthem is "The True North, Strong and Free, Ottawa and Toronto will stay away from thee." In Kirkenes, in the north of Norway, we held an assembly for both Norwegian and Russian students by coincidence on the very morning of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February. And both Norwegian and Russian youth voted for Ukrainian independence on that morning. But noting the Northern Assembly, we also leave the art space and enter reality. One of our most talked about projects is what we call a public awareness campaign for the North, which includes a very large neon sign with the words "Make the North Great Again," that we ship around the Arctic. And this has been a very, very interesting project, not least because it really shows, again, the importance of context. Norting is always context-specific. We engage with the community, the institution, the geography, the politics of where we are. And even though our point of departure always is the North, the issues we address of power, economy, local identity, ownership to natural resources, these issues are very much global and common to all of us. So I'll end with a short report from Greenland, Kalalit Nunaat, where we created a social meeting place in a supermarket and held our assembly meeting, this time not in a theater, but in the main shopping mall of Nuuk.
This is about changing the way we think. It is about transforming the inside of our heads, both in the north and in the south. It is about what stories we tell and about who is telling them. So, dear Northerners, dear people of Kalalit Nunaat, it is time to take back control. It is time to shout it from the top of the icebergs. It's time to make art in the Arctic and bring light to darkness. So these words will stay here through the winter to remind us all that the world looks different seen from here, that the people of the North have to decide their own future, and that the Arctic is not for sale, no matter if it is Beijing or Copenhagen or Washington who is trying to buy. As we say it, make the North great again.
Hello, my name is Ragnhildur Maísól and I am from Murmur Productions in Iceland, and I'm the producer of the Icelandic show by Friðgeir Einarsson, Club Romantica. Murmur Production is a cultural production company in Iceland. It's the only one and first of its kind. We focus on long-term collaboration with leading Icelandic artists, and we work cross-disciplinary. But most of our work is in performance-based art. But I'm here to introduce Club Romantica. So I want to start with a little video with Friðgeir.
My name is Friðgeir Einarsson. I'm the writer and performer of an Icelandic play called Club Romantica. In 2008, I bought 3 photo albums in a flea market in Brussels, Belgium. When I started looking at them, I realized that they were still full of photographs of people who, of course, I didn't know. They were complete strangers. A big portion of the photographs are taken at a beach in Mallorca called Romantica, Club Romantica. But one of the albums tells the story of a wedding which took place in Belgium, probably sometime in the 80s. And after having looked at those photographs for a while, I realized that they all belong to the same person. This woman here, a woman that we know nothing about, except that she traveled to Mallorca twice in the 1970s and then got married back at home in Belgium in the 80s. And I was completely spellbound by these photographs, and it was baffling to me that something so personal would find its way to a flea market. I imagined that the owner of these photographs would want them back. So I decided to go on a search. I decided to find the owner of these photo albums and try to return them. And this quest led me to Mallorca and to a small town in Belgium where the search took an unexpected turn. In our show, Club Romantica, we tell the story of this quest when we try to find the owner of the photographs, and we travel together from Iceland to Mallorca and to Belgium. And of course we will be looking at those lovely photographs. There's music, there's laughter, there's nostalgia, there's an element of investigative journalism, and we ask questions about memories. Who will remember us after 50 years, after 100 years, etc. And what will happen to our photographs in the future?
So Club Romantica premiered in Reykjavík City Theatre in 2019, and we were always going to tour with it. But I had to postpone it, not only because of COVID, but because it was so well received by the audience that it was shown for 3 years. It's performed by Friðgeir as well as the musician Snorri Helgason. It's an 80-minute long show with no intermission and usually performed in a black box theater. We have shown it in English, but we've also shown it in Icelandic with English subtitles. Somebody is interested in that. We are looking for touring opportunities. So if you are interested in Club Romantica or you think you are what we are looking for, please come and find me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lene Therese Teigen, writer and director and artistic director of House of Stories. Our most recent production is Livia's Room, for which we seek performance engagements. It premiered only 3 weeks ago in Bergen, Norway. Livia's Room is a cross-disciplinary project which started in Rome in 2018, where I met an Icelandic composer, a textile artist from Norway, and an antique scholar from Sweden. We have collaborated and worked across borders and genres since then. So Livia's Room is a performance with songs, sounds, movements, and voice in and around our main character, a room within the performance space. It is created with walls of perforated textiles, which you can see with layers of silk, making many layered shadows. This is contemporary opera, poetry, art installation, dance and theater with 8 performers on stage, among them the music ensemble Kimi, based in Denmark. Livia's Room is developed with the Roman age as its historical backdrop. Originally, Livia's Room was a subterranean room with frescoes depicting a forest landscape of a cool bluish turquoise colors, and it was part of an estate owned by Livia, the wife of the Emperor Augustus. She was a central advisor to her husband and did not keep the boundaries of what a woman could or should do. So we are rereading history and looking at how powerful women have been portrayed. Time for a trailer.
She's a nightingale, she's a nightingale, a lonely nightingale. Says the blackbird, says the blackbird. I switch the time and turn the page, but you are hidden in a cage. You sit alone and wait for me. Every night you come and see. And you are in your garden with all the flowers in full bloom. There you sit through day and night. Alas, I book another flight through time, through eternity, through time, through eternity.
So as you can see, the audience in the end here also is allowed into the room, also in the start of the project, or the performance, sorry. So to be able to play Livia's Room, we need a black box or a white box, at least 15 by 20 meters, but we could play in gallery spaces or even outdoors when it's dark. So Livia's Room fluctuates through time. It is not historical drama. Still, we want to present the people who lived in the Roman age. How much can we know about them? One of the theatre critics writes, Livia's room takes us to Roman times and shows us in a charmingly enchanting way that the past is not what it once was. And the headline, Artistic Power Performance. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bjarni, and I'm an actor from a tiny town in the west fjords of Iceland called Tálknafjörður. And 5 years ago, I found a box full of diaries, like this one, and letters from when I was a kid. So I called my friend, the director, Greta.
Yes, hi. And he asked me to help him make something out of this very hilarious, very awkward and vulnerable material. Bjarni is a great singer, so of course this had to be a musical. And then we called our friend Axel.
Hi. These two asked me to compose original music to a one-man autobiographical musical thingy, and we decided to call it
Good Morning Faggi. And the word faggi being the Icelandic version of a horrible slur that is used about us queer people.
But we are reclaiming it.
Faggi, the show, was supposed to be a comedy about my cringy diaries from childhood, a poke at homophobia, and my privileges as a white, cis-abled gay man in the liberal queer paradise of Icelandic society. But then, in the middle of the creative process, I suffered a nervous breakdown.
And it had to go in the show.
And I realized that I, a 40-year-old successful actor in Iceland, was full of deep hatred and shame. Suddenly, I was the most bigoted homophobe in my own story.
So we dove into this pain, and together we tried to answer the question, how did Bjarni end up hating himself so deeply?
And we opened the doors to our creative process and invited queer communities in Iceland to give feedback to our work in progress and dive deeper, to try to go beyond the stereotypes and beyond the concept of tolerance for queer people.
And it turns out the show is not just about me. It's about the fundamental human need to fully belong. And it's a battle cry for compassion.
And it's super gay.
Yes.
We had no funding. They all denied us initially.
Homophobes.
But we did it anyway.
Faggi premiered in August last year during Reykjavik Pride, and we hoped for at least 8 shows. Now we've sold out over 80 shows.
We got outstanding reviews, and we were chosen as one of the top 5 performances of the year last year by Icelandic theatre critics.
And Axel was nominated for the Best Original Score at the Icelandic Theatre Awards.
And Bjarni was nominated as Best Singer.
I was nominated Friend of the Year. We have toured the entire country, performing for 15 to 20-year-olds, their teachers, parents, and the general public. The show is super simple to tour. These two on stage with 2 microphones and a piano. We need good quality sound, very basic lights, and we love intimate stages.
And after every show, we receive messages from our queer audiences, and they describe how they feel seen and validated. Our allies feel empowered, challenged, and enlightened, and parents and educators feel better equipped to talk about queer issues with their children.
So what started out as a comedy about gay privilege and embarrassing teenage diaries
ended up being something life-affirming.
And we have...
because Bjarni's very personal story turns out to be quite universal.
And we have learned, as marginalized queer people, that the world needs this honest, empathetic, unapologetic queer show.
We're in the process of translating to English, and we are very curious to see how our show would meet audiences around the world. We are looking for representation, touring opportunities, venues, friends, and just a general good time. You can find us at perplex.is or around Sinners. We're here and we're queer. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for staying. My name is Gryborg Hallberg. I'm the artistic director of a performance group and movement called Sisters Hope. We work with large-scale, durational, immersive performances where the audience participant stays for at least 24 hours. One such example is the performance installation Sisters Academy, which is the school of a sensuous society. So sensuous society is this potential future world based on aesthetic principles that we embody when we perform. So let's see the film. Sisters Academy is a project or experiment to explore new and more sensuous and poetic modes of learning and also of being and being together.
It becomes a total experience because it becomes your life, because you live it. And that's, I think, one of the most important aspects that I learned from it, is that you can live art, not just look at art, but you can actually live it in a way, inhabit it. And I've never experienced in my life inhabiting an artwork and having relations within an artwork.
Yeah, so as you can see, we are currently exploring a new artistic paradigm that we term inhabitation. So it's moving beyond both spectatorship and also moving beyond temporary participation in performance formats and moving into a new way of producing arts where you live inside the art pieces. So in our performance installations, you live there. This is linked to my research in my artistic research PhD called Sensuous Society, Carving the Path Towards a More Sustainable Future Through Aesthetic Inhabitation Stimulating Ecologic Connectedness. So the argument is that in order to transition into a more sustainable future, we need to democratize the aesthetic, we need to give access to spaces for a more sensuous and poetic mode of being in the world. And so we are working context-based, so we look for an institution that can produce with in close dialogue. One example is that we always bring half of the performers ourselves, trained in the Sisters performance method, and cast the other half locally. And yeah, we hope to be in dialogue with some of you and talk about how this could potentially move beyond a Northern European context. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, the time and space to present and speak here today, and yeah, enjoy the rest of CNAS. Thank you so much.
Dear all, thank you for being here, being generous, listening, sharing. Thank you, dear 6 circus companies and the 7 within the wide range of theater companies for your presentations. I hope sincerely that there will become some fruitful collaborations out of this event today. At least we have served you some highlighted glimpses of the independent Nordic performing arts scene of today. During this session, you have met 22 of our Nordic artists. Big thanks to you all. In addition to these 22, we have approximately another 25 more Nordic artists present here at CNARS this week. And you can find them all from tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, from Thursday until Saturday at the Nordic Square. Hang on. And if you pick up this brochure, the whole Nordic delegation you will find here, and of course we have QR codes, so when you click on the different, you will find the Icelandic, the Finnish, the Swedish, yeah, all 5. So please pick this up and you can enter a vast amount of information about the Nordic delegation this year. Finally, I would like to give big thanks to, who would I like to give big thanks to? I would like to give a big thanks to our technician, Will-Wade Pentel. He has been navigating smoothly, I think, between the live and streaming here today. Big thanks to our producer, Lisa Reynolds, who's been in charge of logistics and all the small but very important details. And to my only right hand, Anders Roland Småhaug. He has been in charge of all the promotion, but in addition, everything I didn't manage to cover. Without you guys, we could not pull this off. So,